My baby, hold on! We're almost there, pharmacy! Please, sir. My daughter is so sick. We have no money.
I understand, but I can't just give it away.
Alright, please, I beg you.
I help. You have to leave my shop. I can't treat the girl until you pay the full treatment money.
It's okay, my child. I'm here.
My head hurts.
I know. Rest now.
The compound on Adewale Street was home to 14 families, 16 rooms arranged in a horseshoe, 1 borehole, 1 overhead tank, and 1 pharmacy shop sitting at the entrance like a gate that never slept. Emeka had run the pharmacy for 6 years. He knew everyone's name, their children's names, their ailments, their schedules. He was the kind of man who smiled with all his teeth and remembered to ask about your mother's knee. People trusted him the way you trust a wall you have leaned on long enough. What they did not know was what he did every Tuesday night. He had discovered it by accident, a compound he read about in an old pharmacology journal, something that in small doses dissolved in water would irritate the stomach lining, weaken the immune system just enough, bring on fevers and running stomachs and body pain that mimicked malaria, but was not malaria. Untreatable by common drugs, treatable only by the specific combination he stocked in his shop. The first time, he told himself it was an experiment. By the 3rd month, it was a business. Every Tuesday around 1 in the morning when the compound slept, Emeka would climb the rusted iron ladder at the back of the building, lift the cover of the overhead tank, and pour in his mixture. He was careful with the quantity. Enough to sicken, never enough to kill. Dead customers paid nothing. By Thursday, the compound would begin to groan. Mrs. Fashola would send her son for drugs. Alhaji Bella's wife would come herself, wrapper tied tight around her waist, sweating and suspicious of nothing. The Igwe family always came together, the husband half carrying his wife. Emeka would diagnose each one with great seriousness, shake his head like a doctor burdened by knowledge, and charge prices that had quietly tripled over the months. "This one is a stubborn bacteria," he would say. Or, "Your body is becoming resistant. We need the stronger one." They believed him because what else do you do when you are sick and there is a man with medicine right at your gate? He sat in his white shop coat and counted money. By the 5th month, people began to talk. "This compound is cursed," Mama Tunde said one Sunday afternoon in the corridor. "One sickness finishes, another one starts." "It is the water," said old Baba Roti, who was 80 and had opinions about everything. "Something is wrong with the water." 2 young men, Chidi and Coyote, volunteered to climb the tank on a Saturday morning. The whole compound gathered below, arms folded, waiting. The men came down after 10 minutes shaking their heads. The tank was clean, no dead animal, no debris, nothing unusual. From his shop, Emeka watched through the window. He poured himself a cold drink and laughed until his stomach hurt. Life in the compound continued its quiet suffering. Her name was Sade. She was 15, thin as a reed, and obsessed with mathematics. Her mother, Nurse Comfort, though she had not practiced nursing since Sade's father left, washed clothes for 3 households in the compound to pay Sade's school fees. What nobody knew, not even Nurse Comfort fully understood, was the specific sensitivity in Sade's body. A particular chemical compound would not simply make her sick. It would trigger a cascade, her immune system turning against her like a confused soldier firing at his own side. On the Tuesday Emeka climbed the tank with his new mixture, he did not know about Sade. He never thought about individual bodies. He thought about profit margins. By Wednesday evening, Sade had a fever. By Thursday morning, she could not stand. Nurse Comfort carried her daughter on her back to Emeka's shop, the same way she had carried her as a baby. Emeka examined the girl, and for one brief moment, something shifted in his chest, but he looked at his price list, and the moment passed. "This one is serious," he said. "The treatment is 15,000. Comfort stared at him. "Emeka, I don't have up to that. You know how things have been. We have been treating one thing or another for months now. You know this. I have been spending money here every week. Please. I cannot give medicine for free. This is a business." "I'm not asking for free. I'm asking you to work with me. She's just a child." He reached under the counter and brought out a single drug, a mild antihistamine, worth maybe 300 naira. Pay for this one. It will calm it down for now. Bring the balance when you can. Comfort paid what she had and left. It did not calm down. In 2 days, Sade could no longer recognize her mother's face. Her breathing became shallow and strange, a sound that no mother should ever have to learn. Comfort ran back to the pharmacy, eyes red and wild. Emeka, please, look at my daughter. Please. He came to the door, glanced toward her room, and shook his head. I cannot help without full payment. I have my suppliers to pay also. That evening, Comfort tied her wrapper and walked 40 minutes to a lone house on the next street. The woman there, who knew hardship when she saw it standing in her doorway, agreed to lend her 20,000 naira. By the time Comfort walked back, the city was under curfew. Soldiers at every junction, the night thick with tension and distance. She could not move. She sat on the steps of a nearby shop, the money in her brassiere, praying to every version of God she had ever been introduced to. She arrived home just before dawn. But the room was already quiet in the way rooms become quiet when they are no longer waiting for anything. Sade had gone sometime in the night, alone in the dark, without her mother's hand. Comfort did not scream. She sat beside her daughter for a long time, holding a hand that was still warm enough to pretend. Then she screamed, and the compound came alive. Emeka heard it from his shop. He walked to his doorway, looked at the commotion, and shook his head once, the same gesture he used for difficult cases. Then he turned, went back inside, and rearranged his shelf. The burial was on a Thursday. The compound contributed what they could. Comfort walked through the following 2 weeks like someone who had forgotten how to be a person and was slowly relearning from scratch. She washed clothes, she ate a little, she slept when her body forced her to. The compound watched her with a grief that had no language. On the 3rd week, Emeka decided it was time. He had given the compound enough rest. People were forgetting to be suspicious. Tuesday came, and at 1 a.m, he took his bottle and climbed. He poured the mixture in. He turned to begin his descent. His left foot missed the rung. It happened in half a second, the kind of fall that the body understands before the mind does. He grabbed at the air and found nothing, and the ladder peeled away from the wall, just slightly, just enough, and then he was on the ground. The sound was enormous. Doors opened, lights came on, the compound poured out in wrappers and singlets and confusion, and they found him on the ground, the bottle still clutched in his hand, a crack in the concrete where he had landed. He could not move his legs. "Help me," he said. "Please, take me to the hospital." The compound was very quiet. One by one, they looked at the bottle in his hand. They looked at the tank above. They looked at each other. Old Baba Roti, who had said it was the water, who had been right and ignored, turned and went back inside without a word. Chidi and Coyote, who had climbed the tank and found nothing because there was nothing yet to find, looked at Emeka for a long time. Then they too went inside. Nurse Comfort stood in her doorway. She looked at him the way you look at something that used to have a meaning and no longer does. She went inside and closed her door. The compound returned to its sleep. Emeka lay under the tank he had poisoned for months, watching the sky lighten slowly, from black to gray to the pale, indifferent blue of a new morning that came, as mornings always do,